Welcome to From Loneliness to Overflow with Matina. I'm your host, a holistic healing coach, divorce recovery coach, and a passionate advocate for personal growth and your guide on the journey to healing. This podcast is for those who are struggling with the feelings of loneliness, disconnection, feeling stuck, and who are ready to discover their inner potential and live a life overflowing with love and connection. Inside, we are going to explore the path from pain to transformation, bridging the gap between loneliness and abundance through heartfelt conversations, spirituality, energy work, and self-awareness. So let's get started on this soulful journey together. Welcome to another episode from Loneliness to Overflow with Matina. Today's guest is a very bright red, beautiful soul who shows up with a big smile, who shows up with this beautiful knowing of the gifts that she lives with every single day and that she now shares with the world every single day. I can't wait for everyone to hear Alina's story and really lean into what it means when we are trusting our gut, our intuition, more than what the environment around us shows and cares for. With that said, welcome, Alina.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me as your guest. Thank you. It's an honor for me to be here. And if I'm a bit nervous, I'm sorry. It's my first time recording something. So please forgive me.
No apology needed. I know how pure and loving your soul is, and that's the one that we really want to lean into and talk with and talk from. So let's just allow our beautiful spirits and the guides and the universe to speak through us and give the message that anyone listening needs to hear. So I'm excited about this conversation. But before we step into the conversation, please share more about you. What do you do in this world right now?
So, like she introduced me, my name is Alina. I'm a mindset expert and manifestation coach. And my mission is to help each and every single beautiful soul who's ready to make peace with their own reality and create a new one from the inside out. Because I'm a true believer that once you know what you want deep in your heart and you follow that through any limiting beliefs, any society expectations, any human restrictions that have been put on us since we were born, that's when you actually will feel fulfilled. And when you wake up, you'll wake up with that energy that you want to be alive and you want to be here on earth. And life is more than just going to a 9 to 5 and, I don't know, take care of the kids. We are all here on earth to expand, evolve, and learn. And I am pretty sure that Source didn't put us here to come and struggle and be unhappy. Source put us here for a reason, and I want more people to understand that. And again, break a bit from the 3D reality and understand that there is more than what we actually see with our own eyes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. You know, I ask so often the one question, which is, where in your life did you experience the loneliness moment that led you into the overflow? But in this case, Alina, and I know we've had a conversation prior about this as well, I really want to lean into and ask you, what was the loneliness or the disconnection that you saw in your environment as you yourself have not held on to or believed the loneliness or disconnection in yourself?
That's a very good question. I see the disconnect every day around me, in particular at work. I still have my 9 to 5 job. When I go to work and I see people saying, oh, that's only for rich people. Oh, that's too expensive. Oh, that's not possible. And some of the things are just minor, like we're talking about some restaurants where, I don't know, let's say $20 more than an average one. So why would you just say it's not possible? Because if you put your mind to it and you actually go and leave that perception behind, I'm pretty sure it is possible. It's just what your mind thinks, and it's what you believe in your mind is what is going to become true. And this is going to be a crazy story that happened to me 2 days ago. I was parked into an underneath car park, and getting out of there is very steep. And my car is old and manual. So for those who know, it's not that easy to get out of a steep car park with a manual car. And a couple of years ago, I got stuck onto that hill, and everyone behind me had to reverse because my car will not start again. So I had so much anxiety to get out of that car park, you cannot imagine. And then I went and I looked at that step and I was like, all right, this is my mind. I'm going to make it nice and slow. And I literally just made it so nice and slow that step was not even there. And that was another proof to me that if I want something in my mind and I get my mind on board, it's going to happen. And this is for everyone. And that was just a car park silly example, but this can be with everything, can be with work, can be with money, can be with finding love, can be with your own health as well, because I see very often, and this unfortunately is a bit to my mom as well, she thinks that as she gets older it's normal for her to get more sick and have more health issues, and a lot of people tend to believe that, and it's not like that. I see people at 70, 80 years old every day walking their dogs and doing long walks and being healthy and so on and so forth. And yeah, they probably have some health issues, but they don't believe that's normal. So their body responds to that.
Right.
So the more we understand that it's our mind who creates our reality, the more happy and fulfilled we're going to live. And I think that we need that because there's so much, I don't know, control from different people, situations, governments, which is, some of it is not necessarily bad. It's just that we need to understand that if we feel like we need something, we should just go for it. And we should just find that inner peace inside us. Not just because, I don't know, your mom told you can't have a business or you're not worth it. That doesn't mean you're not. We are here on earth, so it means we are worthy. We just need to understand that we are and don't get stuck in what people tell us. Sorry, if you want to interrupt me, you can interrupt me. I think I talk too much.
No, not at all. Not at all. You know what's so interesting? As you were sharing that, my mind was actually going into so many places that we tell ourselves where we can or cannot have something. But I want to go back to your own story, your own experience of really understanding and even making your own environment aware of it. Of course, it's possible. So one story you shared with me was how you decided that you were going to go to a university in Australia. So
I just, to be honest, I don't know. It's like I spin the globe and I just picked it. I'm like, okay, I'm going.
Well, I want to hear more about that because I think it's a very fascinating way for our listeners to understand how you went from this little girl just knowing and choosing something as silly and out there as it was at that time to this beautiful young lady that you are today and doing the things that you believe in and helping people manifest the things that they believe in, but really going back to that little girl who just knew things. So tell us the story about you, where you chose your university and how that played out.
I'm going to go back a bit with the story because I think the reason why I had the courage to do it and why I went so blindly with it is because every single moment since I was a kid and I had an exam, or, you know, kids have exams, parents tell them to learn and whatever. And my mom always used to tell me that if you believe you're going to get a good grade, or if you believe the subject that's going to be paper is exactly the best subject, you know, because obviously all these subjects that I wasn't very good at, that's exactly what you're going to have. Keep repeating that to yourself and it's going to happen. And obviously that was just school exams and it was working. Every single time worked. And I had good grades, even though I wasn't so good at all subjects. But my mind was always like, need to have this and this and this. And then, so I've trained my mind from exams to other things. So if it works, if I tell my mind that I'm going to be great at something or I'm going to make it, then why can't I apply that for something else? So I don't know, I probably applied it to other things, but I can't remember now. But I remember when I got the call from the Australia University on a 4 o'clock, I think on a Friday afternoon, and they told me I was admitted. And I was very excited in the beginning. And then I was like, oh God, hold on a second. All these fees and plane tickets, and I have to find a place to live and expenses. And obviously, for people who don't know, in Australia, schools are pretty expensive, like in the US. And I don't know for other people, but for international students, there are no scholarships. So it was like full fees. So I was like, for a second, I was like, And then I called my mom and she was like, I guess we'll have to make it somehow. And then I was like, Mom, we have to make it. There's no other choice. If I don't go now, I'm never gonna go. And uh, I don't even know, but I made it. And I believe that up to last moment, because I remember my Australia visa actually didn't came until like 11 a.m. the morning I was supposed to fly. So on the way to the airport, I had to go to the embassy and pick up my passport. So everything was last minute, but I just trusted that it's going to work out, and it did. Here I am. It's 13 years later, 14 years later. I lost count now. Actually, it's probably 14, exactly 14 years now, as of yesterday, as of 17th of
Wow.
October. Yep.
Wow.
But it's the fact that I always believed, and it doesn't matter how hard in some instances it was, because it wasn't just pink and roses. It was a bit of hard and a bit of stress, and it was sometimes moments when you look at it and you're like, this isn't like, this make no logic to happen. And then I'm like, no, it has to happen. There's no other option. And I'll switch my beliefs around and I'll keep repeating it to myself, even if my reality was not showing what I wanted. And then I made it. And yeah, I think getting here was one thing, then getting the residency and the citizenship was also very hard. I don't know how it's in the US, but in Australia, it's not easy. And even with that, I remember I was stressing about it, but I was trying to believe and I was repeating and I think I've told you this story with the psychic medium that I went and see. And when I asked him if I'm going to get my permanent residency, he turned around to me and he's like, it's up to you. And back then I didn't know much about spirituality or anything. And I looked at him kind of like, what do you mean? I'm here for you to tell me the future, And then he kind of explained to me. And then I was like, hold on a second. So it is up to me. So everything that we want is because it's available in our quantum field, but it's up to us to believe enough to bring it in our 3D reality. It doesn't matter how crazy it is. It can happen, because if you want something, it's not coming from the neighbor having it or, I don't know, someone else having it. It's coming from our creator field. And if you have the ingredients in the creator field, it's like you have the ingredients, you can make the soup. As easy as that.
Yep.
Or at least that's how I see it.
Before we dive back in, I have something transformative to share with you. It's called the Alignment Collective. Release, Rebuild, and Rise. My signature group coaching program designed to help you unlock the life you deserve. Every month, we focus on a key area of life, from health to relationships, career, and more. In the first 2 weeks, we energetically release what's holding you back. Then we shift into calling in the abundance and clarity that you desire. And in the final week, we come together for a powerful group coaching, sharing our wins, our challenges, and raising the collective energy. Are you ready to release what doesn't serve you, rebuild your foundation, and rise into your potential? Try it for 50% off with discount code GROWTH. Visit matinasingh.com/meditation. The link is also found in the description. I can't wait to support you on this journey. See, you're telling me, what you're actually sharing is receiving a seed. I'm going to call it a seed, which was the thought that your mom put in place, where it's like, if you believe you're going to get a good grade, you're going to get a good grade. If you believe that you're going to make it, you're going to make it. So put
100%.
your effort and your time into that. And you took that so seriously and too hard that without recognizing or giving it the name of manifestation, you were doing it throughout life.
100%. And to be honest, I didn't even know what manifestation is until maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when I first heard about the word. No, I think a couple of years ago, many years ago, I heard about the book, The Secret.
Yes.
And then I watched the movie and I read the book, but I had no idea that was manifestation. And I think I learned about manifestation probably like 2 years ago or something like that. Like before that, I was just practicing it without knowing it. For me, it was just what my mom told me to believe, and I was just doing it, and it was working.
Right. So it's not even about the word, right? It's about the belief systems that we create in ourselves, the know-hows, the pathways that we are aligning for ourselves because we want something. And throughout life, what you're sharing from The little girl who wanted to have good grades to the one who decided I'm going to go to Australia for my schooling to now where you have your permanent residency, where you are living and creating from a field of what you want. So what you really is so amazing about your story, Alina, is how your belief in yourself was never questionable.
Well, maybe this also came from my mother. She always told me that, how to say this? I always have to rely on myself. Because if I, more or less, I can't just wait for people to believe in me or do that. I have to believe in myself and I have to work it out myself. And that's probably because her being a single mom, she had to figure out a lot of things by herself. And she was trying to teach me to figure things out on myself and not depend on others, which we know now that it's good to have feminine and masculine energy and it's good to receive. But I think it's also important for people to understand that if you want something and you deeply want to change your reality, it has to start with you. You cannot wait for, I don't know, the partner, the friend, the mother, the father, the sister, or whoever to come and save you or change your reality. It has to start within. And once it starts within yourself, then yes, probably the friend or the mother or somebody will help, or that situation that will help you change your reality will be more clear. But everything it has to start within, because if it doesn't start within, you're not going to even notice it. It may be right in front of you, but if you don't believe it and you don't have it in your heart and you don't decide that you are worthy and you go for it, that situation may have been there for 3 years and you just didn't see it because you were too stuck into the limiting beliefs and society expectation that you don't see outside the box.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. We do get stuck in our heads. We do get stuck in what we are directly seeing from our environment. But you didn't allow, sorry?
We are, yes. And I am sometimes as well, even now. Like, we are humans. Unfortunately, that's happened.
And it's having grace for that human part. It's having grace for the part that we know that we get to grow with and still continuing to tap into our own intuition, tap into our own knowing and believing that things are going to work out, that things are going to create, that things are going to manifest in beautiful ways that we could ever imagine.
Yes, I believe we have such an incredible power that we don't even realize sometimes. And then sometimes we do something and we realize we have the power, and then we get stuck again into the box and we tend to forget.
Yes. Yes. Wow. So how did you get from recognizing that you are manifesting into being inspired of helping others manifest and help them with their mindset?
I think the two parts of it. So a year and a half ago, approximately, I did a psychic mediumship course with an amazing mentor. And obviously, we learned to speak with the past loved ones, and we learned to look into quantum field and give readings and intuitively read for people. And I remember he said something towards the end of the course that we only see what is available for them. And they usually come to us because they want reinsurance, but they can actually create it anyway. But people like reinsurance, and that's why they come to us.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hold on a second. This goes back to many years ago before I got my permanent residency, because I forgot about it, but it was up to me to believe. But I completely forgot about it. So I was like, well, instead of giving people readings and reassuring them, what about I teach them how to actually create from their quantum field and learn all the steps and all the, well, not tricks, but the energy that you need to have and the work, what you need to do from the inside to be able to create on the outside. So I just thought that for me, instead of trying to tell people what's available in their quantum field, I think it's more important for me, for my soul mission, to help them actually create what they want. Because I think it's more important, because if somebody goes to a psychic medium and I don't know, let's say I tell them they need to move to the States, but then because they're going to live an amazing life, but then they don't have the courage to step and do that step, then the amazing life, it may not happen, because you need to take the action. Because again, it's 80% the inner work and it's 20% the action. Without the action, the manifesting is not going to come.
Yeah.
And most of the times, all of us, in order to manifest something amazing, we need to step into our courage and get out our comfort zone to be able to achieve that great thing. And a lot of people have a lot of trouble. Even I sometimes I have problems to step into my courage and do something that I've not done before. And by holding people's hand and talking through them and helping them when they have to step into the courage, I can help them achieve a more amazing life, a life that they love, and they just wake up excited for it every single day.
Yes, the courage that you had to have for yourself and the courage that you choose to show up for others with. That is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing this because so often we have these moments of life where we are seeing our environment not live up to their potential and really believing that the box that they were being given by the world is all that they can want or need. But what you're really doing is you're actually taking them out of the box and allowing them to really see 360 of what is possible for themselves.
100%. And that's what is all about, because all of us have different missions. Like, I don't know, some of us want to be billionaires, some of us want to just live on a farm with our pets, some of us, I don't know, everyone has a different thing. Some of us just need to be artists and inspire the world for different things. Like, we all have a different path.
Right.
And that's fine. It whatever it looks like for you, it's absolutely perfect.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay, so we have a little ritual on this podcast, which is I'm going to ask you a question that the previous guest has left. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you to leave a question for the next guest. And we'll do that after completing the recording here. But I'm super curious because your question, so this is your question. What is your relationship to your physical body? And what does it need to be even more connected to it?
Oh, you're killing me here. It's like the person knew what who is going to be on the podcast. Yeah. Okay. So as a general rule, I do have a pretty good relationship with my body. I do exercise every morning. I go for walks. I think where I could do better is probably eat less meat, but that is a bit hard. I'm not a big meat eater anyway, but I do know that sometimes it's better if we more vegetarian and especially more raw because it connects us more to source.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have those days when I eat tofu and stuff like that, I do feel more energetic and more connected, more ideas flow to my head. So I know it is true and I'm going to get there, but I'm just struggling with some of the flavors. So I'll get there. And I think the other one is potentially even more healthy drinks. Like instead of having a Diet Coke or a glass of wine at night, I should have more tea. And yes, I am aware of it and I'm working through it. But again, we are humans. So that doesn't mean that having those things from time to time is bad. It's just the more we are aware of it and we try to avoid it, the better it will be for our body in this lifetime.
How is because you said something very interesting here, which is when I eat meat, and meat is just an example here, right? When you are eating more raw and vegetables, you feel more connected to your body. How does that show up for you?
I don't know. I feel more lighter and more energetic and I don't get tired that easy and I just have that energy and ideas and I just need to action everything. It's just like I'm on a Red Bull all the time, something like that.
Awesome. Well, Alina, this was absolutely a pleasure speaking with you. For our listeners who are interested in reaching out to Alina, all her information is down in the description below. And I am super excited for what this conversation is going to do for anyone who is inspired to listen and how they're going to receive their own aha moments throughout the conversation that we've had. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
No, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for listening. I hope this episode has helped you to feel less alone in finding tools towards a life which is overflowing with love and purpose. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a second to rate and review. Each review helps us to reach more individuals who are seeking healing and personal growth just like you. And don't forget to take a screenshot and share your aha moments on your Instagram stories and tag me, Matina. See you next week. Take care.